Hello, this is Donna from Clever Crafting and welcome to my craft room. Today we are going to make a pop-up surprise card. I don't really know what else to call it. Anyway, we're going to start with an A6 card base. This little strip of cardstock is 21 centimetres by 2.5 centimetres. It might even be 3 centimetres. And we're going to be using this to make our pop-up inside our A6 card. That's actually made out of a lighter cardstock, not the heavy cardstock like my card base is. My card base is 350 GSM and that strip is 250 GSM. So the two matte pieces I used my metric rectangles to cut. So the bottom one is that one there. You can see I've got a couple of holes cut out of it and I'll show you what those are in a minute. But that one is 14.3 centimetres by 10 centimetres and I use the second largest metric rectangle for that. And the top pattern piece is 13.8 centimetres by 9.5 centimetres and I use my third biggest rectangle for that. So this is where I've cut the circles out of those matte pieces. So I just used the die set from this Happy Birthday stamp set, the celebration stamp set here. Now this stamp set actually comes with those dies and all of these are label dies in different shapes. So they're also really versatile for other things. So I used the largest circle out of this set and I cut from the center of my matte pieces and then I used the top circle and they match up with these little cutter parts that come in the Lovely Garden kit. Now we've got all of our pieces. We're just going to pop them all together. So I'm just popping glue on that pattern piece. This is the one that's going on the inside. So you need 2 pieces of pattern paper and 2 background pieces. And I've got different paper on the inside and then the outside. So you see me doing the inside here. I do the outside off camera. All right, so now we're still on the inside. We've got the strip of cardstock. This is why it's good to have it a little bit lighter. So as I mentioned, this is just a 250 GSM. And I have folded it in half and I'm going to reinforce that fold by using my bone folder. And now I'm just going to pull up those flaps and make them meet in the center there so it's half again. So you fold it in half and then half again. Really easy. So while we wait for it. Okay, once we've done that, of course, you also want to use your bone folder on these to really reinforce these folds. These ones are going to be opening and closing, every time you open and close the card. And inevitably, when you've got a card that's got something cute inside, you open it a lot of times. All right, so now we're laying that down and I am marrying up the center fold. So even though it was the same length and I folded it in half, I'm making sure that I line this whole piece up from the center out. Now, I actually want to take that little piece off the bottom. This is optional, of course. Any of this is optional. And I'm just using my pencil to mark, just put a little tick where I want that to cut off. So I'm lining it up with the bottom of my patterned piece of paper. And I'm just going to cut that off. I've cut that off. I did that off camera. That was quick. And I'm adding some glue. Way too much glue. I don't know why I do this, but constantly. Have you ever noticed? It's like, if I don't put on the glue, it's not going to hold together, which in actual fact is not true. You only really need a little bit of glue for this and probably just around, the edge, but whatever. So I'm lining it up in the center and holding that tight and pressing that piece down, which magically lines up perfectly with my pattern paper at the end. So happy, happy days. Give that a good push so it's all in place. Now I'm just going to spin the card around here and I am putting glue on the very top section that's got a fold in it. So we've skipped the 2 center ones, we've done the very top and we've done the very bottom. I just turned it on its side because it's easier for me to reach. So I've noticed there's a tiny, tiny little piece sticking out, which I really don't want, so I'm just going to trim that off. No one would probably even notice that, but I knew it was there, so it just had to go. Okay, so that's how it works. Look at that, beautiful, nice and easy. And we're going to put our little round pieces on that. We're going to glue them up now. So also off camera, I just stamped this Woohoo, It's Your Birthday. I'm greeting from the greeting set, actually the stamp set that I showed you a little bit earlier. And I'm just popping glue on the back of that. Just make sure it's fully covered, Donna. I mean, all right. You know, we've all got our funny little quirks, don't we? All right, so I'm just going to pop that in so on that the larger pink piece, so it's in the middle. So the best part about cutting out those pieces from the center of your mat, pieces of card, is that, well, no one's going to see where you've cut it out, and you've saved yourself some cardstock, which is, you know, great. So I will off camera stick all of those together, which you can see I've done that here. So I will, to glue them on, put glue onto the pop-up piece, not onto the circle. Now, these don't have to be circles either, by the way. They can be any shape. They're just under approximately 2 inches, a bit smaller than that. So they fit in those fold areas without any dramas. I'm just deciding which way I want that flower to be situated. But the reason that we put the glue on the actual pop-up section is so you don't glue it down flat, because the first time I made this card, I put glue on the back of the circle and I stuck it down, and some of the glue seeped over and then it was stuck open. So disaster. So just make sure you put it on the pop-up piece, and then you can put your little embellishment part where you want it to be situated. Just trying to line them up, just eyeballing it, you know, not being that particular. Oh, and look, magic, they're all done. So normally what I do is I put a little white piece there. So I've got a white piece, but, you know, I'm not really sure. That paper is so pretty. I don't really know that I want to cover it. So will I, won't I? I think what I end up doing, yes, is just I'll just put it away and think about it for a little bit. Yeah, open it, check it again. Really, I just don't know. I still don't know. I still haven't stuck this in because I don't know whether it should be in or out. Maybe I'll cut it a bit smaller or a different shape. Anyway, let's pop that aside for the time being, and let's get on to the front of the card for the embellishments. So I had some scrap paper left. So these are the strips. I had 2 strips left from my inside paper and my outside paper because I used 6x6 paper. And this is one of the strips that's left. I've already stamped on the other one, and I'm stamping a couple of feathers on it because this means I don't have to color them in. They're going to go with my card. The 2 pieces of paper are out of the same paper pack, so they already coordinate. And it's a great way to use up some of these scraps while you're actually using the paper pad, because, you know, we all have these scraps and these bits and pieces of paper. So I'm really on a mission to try and use up as much as I can. Seems to me, though, that the more I use, the more I make. Anyway, so I'm just going to, you can see that I've popped these through my die cutting machine. This set comes with matching dies. You can see them on my desk there. And I'm just planning out where I'm going to put everything. And I've decided I'm just going to put a little greeting beside the feathers there. So this is the greeting that I'm going to put. This is just a printout of greetings that also comes in the Lovely Garden kit. And I'm just securing that into place. I'm going to run it through my die cutting machine. Now it's time to put all of these embellishments together. So this first feather, which is the largest of the 2 feathers that I have chosen, is going to go flat on my card. So, which is nice, you can see it. Because I've used the pattern paper, it doesn't actually look like it's, stamped on anything. It looks like it's stamped on the card. This particular feather, I've got that propped up on foam tape. So just measuring with my greeting there as to how it's going to fit. You'll also notice that my greeting, I have mounted on some of the same pink cardstock that I've used as my mat. So I've got the white card that I cut out and then I put it on a mat of the pink. I've put some double-sided foam tape on the back there, and once again a whole pile of glue, unnecessary. A couple of drops would have been fine. So where the double-sided foam tape isn't is where it's going to rest up on top of the feathers. Of course, it's very important to remove the backing of the foam tape before you try and stick it down. And I'm just going to pop that into place exactly where I want it. I'm lining that up with the pink edge on the outside. And now I just need to straighten it up a little bit because it's not quite straight. All right, and there we have, voila, beautiful card, nice and easy. and a little pop-up surprise in the center. So once again, I really want to thank you for taking some time out to spend with me today. I really hope that you learned something new and that you give this technique a try. It's a fun technique. If you would like to see some different versions of this card, please hop on over to our Facebook group. I'll make sure that the link goes down below. We actually do a class on these cards. We did one like not last night, the night before. So if you ever want to join our classes, just leave me a comment or drop a note on the Facebook page. As always, I really appreciate you liking this video and would love you to become a subscriber. Till next time, stay safe and happy crafting.